Hi, I'm Max Dawson. Thank you for watching this video about the Bible. We've been learning that the Bible is not a bunch of disconnected stories, but rather that there is one story that runs through the whole Bible. The story begins with 3 promises made to Abraham. Let me read those 3 promises from Genesis chapter 12, verses 1, 2, and 3. Now the Lord had said to Abram, "Get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed." The 3 promises are, 1, a land promise, 2, a nation promise, and 3, the blessing promise. Now the blessing promise is sometimes called the seed promise, because it is through Abraham's seed, his offspring, that the blessing will come to all nations. Jesus Christ is the one who fulfilled the seed promise. But in order for this promise to be fulfilled, Abraham's family must be preserved, for it is through his family that the promise would come. In our last session, we saw how God fulfilled one of the 3 promises, the nation promise. God built a great nation through Abraham's family. Abraham was the father of Isaac, and from Isaac came Jacob, and then from Jacob came 12 sons. From the 12 sons came the 12 tribes of Israel. Now the whole family eventually found themselves down in Egypt, where they were enslaved by Pharaoh. But the family grew nonetheless. Over a period of about 400 years, they had grown from fewer than 100 in number to as many as 2 million. Indeed, God fulfilled the promise to Abraham that he would build a great nation. They were a great people, but they did not yet have the land that God promised to Abraham. How could God fulfill this promise if the people are enslaved in a foreign country? Well, nothing is too hard for God. God is going to deliver the people from slavery and bring them into their own land. The nation of Israel not only needs land, but they need a leader and a law. Everything we have seen in our study up to this point has taken place in the book of Genesis and in the first chapter of Exodus. Our study continues in Exodus as God raises up a leader to deliver Israel from slavery. The man's name is Moses. He is an Israelite, but was raised in a position of prominence in Egypt. Moses has pity on his enslaved fellow Israelites, and on one occasion he struck an Egyptian who was beating an Israelite. The Egyptian died, and Moses was forced to flee from Egypt. He went to the land of Midian, where he became a shepherd. And it was in Midian that God appeared to Moses in a burning bush. God spoke to him saying, "I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I have come to deliver Israel from the hand of the Egyptians. I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring my people out of Egypt." Now Moses was stunned by this, and did not believe he was the man who should deliver the people from slavery. But God persisted, and indeed Moses did bring the Israelites out of Egypt. But it was no easy task. Pharaoh resisted, and God sent 10 plagues on Egypt to convince Pharaoh to release the captive Israelites. Moses led Israel out of Egypt, through the Red Sea, and then to Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai is important to the Bible story because that's where God gave the nation of Israel his law. There at Sinai, Moses was given the 10 commandments, as well as hundreds of other commandments for the Israelites to keep. And so the nation now had a leader, Moses, and they had a law, the covenant given at Mount Sinai. But they still did not have their promised land. So they left Sinai and headed for Canaan, the land of promise. But when they approached Canaan, the people rebelled against God and wanted to go back to Egypt. God did not let them go back, but made them wander in the wilderness for 40 years. Then at the end of 40 years, and with the death of Moses, under the leadership of Joshua, the people of Israel finally marched into the promised land. Joshua was a great military leader who conquered the land and drove the wicked Canaanites out of Canaan. The land of Canaan was divided among the tribes of Israel. Though it was a great struggle, God had at last given his people their own land. God had fulfilled both the land promise and the nation promise. The first 2 promises are fulfilled by the time we reach the end of the book of Joshua. There remains only the 3rd promise, the seed promise, to be fulfilled. The remainder of the Old Testament is in preparation for the seed promise, the one who is to come, Jesus, the Savior of the world. We will see that in our next session.